Welcome to episode 10 of Poor Decisions. My name's Ronan Collins, or Whiskey for Breakfast.
And my name is Michael Cowman, or The Cowman Show. And you can hear a slightly babbling brook behind us because we are where, Ronan?
We are in the Killowen Distillery in the Killowen Mountain of County Down.
Yeah, and we're with I feel like the guests get successively more handsome each week. This week we're with Mr. Brendan Carty, owner, operator, head distiller, head blender, head bottle washer, head mover around of various things.
Brand ambassador, accountant,
spud picker.
Welcome, Brendan.
Thanks very much, lads.
Yeah.
It's actually brilliant to be sitting here with these two fine specimens.
No, thanks for having us. We always say welcome to the show, but you have us here in your home. So thank you very much for welcoming us up here today.
Especially on quite a big production day. For those who are watching this, maybe you can't tell, but everything is working and it's running right now in the distillery. So we have just come in, set up around that. So thank you for letting us do that.
Brendan was delighted when we walked in.
2 hours late.
Okay, Brendan, let's start from the start.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the story of Killowen, when you started, how you started, all that kind of jazz.
Okay, right. Wasn't prepared, sorry. But yeah, but so it was 5 years ago we started distilling here. So there was about 3 years before that we were actually just planning the thing out ourselves. So I was out in Australia working at the time, and obviously we were on the phone to Shane all the time, and he was running Ireland Craft Beverages, exporting a lot of quality Irish produce around the world. And I said, you know what, Shane, I just want to open a distillery. And he goes, yeah, that's brilliant. Just go and do it. Just start it. And I was like, I just don't know when to start it. And the man actually goes, just start now.
That sounds like Shane.
Sorry, so Shane from Two Stacks, right? That is the most Shane thing I've ever heard. Yeah, just go and do it. Why haven't you opened it? What are you talking about it?
True, so. But then a few months then, we were at home with a business plan, still working as an architect for another 3 years here. And then at the same time in that last year, building this place by hand, cutting down trees that used to be growing now where we are, and that was it.
Class, and the rest is history.
Exactly.
So, I mean, your oldest spirit now is 4.5, is it? Coming up to 5?
Yeah, exactly. 4.5-year-old spirit now, yeah.
And tell us a little bit about the ethos here. Like, I know you're mash bills, you're always trying new stuff. Well, all that kind of jazz.
It's a glorified potching plant. Everything's made small batch. We've got lovely copper pot stills, flame fed as well. So it's going more to the traditional approach. You can hear the worm tubs bobbling away behind us here. Worm tub, small batch distillation, but more importantly, traditional approach to mash bills. Yeah, so playing around with mixed mash bills as much as possible, and working along those blurred lines between what is, GI compliant single pot still and what isn't. So we're making both.
Brendan is probably the bad boy of Irish whiskey. He makes up his own rules.
Yeah. You had to even take all those bottles back once upon a time and redact all the distilleries that they came from.
Well, yeah, scribbling out some of the information that we're not allowed to put on the labels, unfortunately. Things like that. But no, we're trying to influence the industry. We're trying to make, what is actually single pot still be allowable again. You're not allowed to do it. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. So we're just going ahead and we're making it. And we can't call it single pot still. We can only call it Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
But it's a good foot forward in just the educational piece that has to happen. So you have to push against something,
and
swim up the river.
It tastes brilliant as a result as well. So we find that the more traditional styles actually taste slightly better than the single pot stills. In saying that, though, our own single pot still is still marvellous at the same time. But you just get those extra complexities of flavour by adding a little bit more oat rye and wheat in there.
Yeah, so just for people who aren't familiar, I mean, we're talking about single pot still and your single pot, your whiskey. Why? What's the difference between yours and other places? I guess, like you mentioned, the extra.
So we do make compliant stuff and we make non-compliant stuff as well, if you like. Those terms we're using loosely as our own layman's terms. So 5% oats, rye and wheat is allowable in a single pot still currently, whereas traditionally it was about 35%. So we're making them at around 30% oats, rye and wheat. And if we can't call it single pot still, fair enough. We all know it is pot still, but we're not allowed to call it that.
Because it was just like whatever you have lying around, traditionally, whatever you have lying around, you're putting it into a still, you're bringing it forward to next year and stuff as well. So you had a big variety of different stuff going into traditional whiskey.
And then what we found out later is that when they were doing that, they found out which tasted the best. And then they locked into their own general mash bills. But you're right, they still varied because there might have been a shortage of this and that. Yeah. But it turned out that even the likes of John Flynn Distillery in Dublin, it was making like 30% oat rye and wheat as well,
No way.
which is amazing. Yeah, and Old Cumber, Bandon in Cork. In fact, all of the single pot stills or all the pot stills is worth 30%.
And it's hard to find those records, though. I guess is one of the biggest problems.
We didn't do any of it. It was entirely down to Finan O'Connor. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
We do hear his name come up again and again from different people, and it just goes to show how much of an impact his research and his thesis and all is having on the Irish whiskey industry.
He's a legend in the making. The distillery would be a much lesser place without him. So it's not just ourselves. There's a number of other distilleries benefiting from his research, and the consumers are benefiting from his research. So every time we take a sup of pot still, we should take one for him as well.
Yeah, we actually can't afford to get him on the podcast yet, but
Big costs.
big cost. But we have something to try. What do you want to start with? You mentioned you're a glorified Poitin distillery. Do we want to start with Poitin?
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about the green Pangur?
The green one? Yeah, this one?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I'll let
There you
you.
go.
I'll let you talk
Give it
us
a
through
good pop there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah, give it a pop now up for Ronan.
It's not squeeching enough. It's meant to.
Hold on.
No, have to go back in
that
again.
was- we'll try
It's
with
okay.
another one.
We'll edit it out. We'll put a big. Oh
No.
Oh.
That's so embarrassing.
Who owns these things?
It's tough when you're not a pro. I'll pour it out here. So tell us about this one. So this is Pangur.
Pangur's based on a poem from the 9th century when, basically the Irish were responsible for bringing the written word around Europe. So we set up a university system, if you like, after the Dark Ages, and that scholarly influence continued for centuries ever after. So it was written in a country that's now known as Germany, and that gives you a context for the language. But that whole revival of the Irish language is quite similar to the revival of the Poitin category.
Yes.
So this one here is made with mixed mash bills, and it's a mixture as well of peated Great Northern, New Make and Killowen, and it's put into a bourbon cask for 10 weeks, and we've got unmalted barley, malted barley, oats, rye and wheat in there. And you know what? It's just, I think it's Ireland's answer to mezcal. It's just all those flavours are in there.
You do frequently say that. I don't know, like sometimes I agree with you, sometimes I don't. But I mean, and so 10 weeks, it's just about allowed called Poitin, is that right?
You're right, Dan. 10 weeks only.
Yeah.
Or anything below that.
Yeah.
So,
It has beautiful flavours there as well. And I think that smoke, the peat kind of adds a little bit of extra complexity to it as well, doesn't it?
it does. That lovely earthy note. It really does. It's fun. It's vibrant. It's really good with a cocktail. I know this legend over here made an absolutely amazing cocktail as well with it too. So
A wee bit of honey and apple in there, you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, legend is a strong word for what he is.
and correct.
Well, that is delicious. And so this one is available all the time. This is one of your core releases?
That's it. Absolutely, yeah. It's a fun one. It's really good. And we also do it with we also finish one in a PX cask and one in a stout cask. So it makes a nice colourful approach,
Yeah.
Perfect addition.
They'll look great on your back bar at home.
Or in your bar.
But no, so genuinely, if people want to buy that, where do they get that?
All of our wholesalers, all the bars, anybody friendly to Killowen, a lot of carry-out stores through the Republic of Ireland, a lot of independent off licenses in Northern Ireland.
Cool.
Different reps. It's on the menu in the Dead Rabbit in New York as well.
He doesn't want to leave anyone out, so that was why you got a very diplomatic answer there.
Go look for some Pangur Poitin.
But that is one of the core ones, which is important to say, because you do a lot of stuff that's limited edition, and I think
Well, even before we get to the distilled stuff,
Yeah.
you also do blends. Like you're a bonder as well, not as primary as like two stacks, but you have your rum and raisin, which is part of your core range, which is blended liquid from different distilleries.
Yeah,
Yeah?
absolutely. This one's a nice bottle.
this one. Oh yeah, okay, sure.
Hold on a second. Is this a new bottle that you're holding in your hand right now?
What's he gonna do? Is he gonna? Oh, it is the new. This is the new shaped bottle.
It's almost like a world exclusive.
So we've gone from 500ml to 700ml, and that's not being sold yet. So, hello world. It might well be on the market by the time you guys are this. So
If this ever airs, who knows?
Cancel.
Can I do the pop?
Yeah, you'd be better at it than me anyway.
Go on.
Yeah, go on. You ready for this?
Oh! Bill of boss.
Nice.
All right, yeah.
There we go.
So, Brent, talk us through this.
Yeah, rum and raisin. 2 casks. PX sherry tastes like dried fruits. Christmas pudding, raisins. Rum tastes like rum. So we finish it in rum casks, PX sherry casks, flat it back together again, and what do you got? Rum and raisin single malt.
Yeah, so I remember the chocolate bar. Wasn't there a dairy milk chocolate bar? It was like a dairy milk rum and raisin. I never liked that, but do you know what? I'm quite fond of this.
What about the ice cream? You're like,
Yeah, the rum and raisin ice cream. I always get like that's their sort of mixture. You know, it's those fleshy fruits coming out there. But like it is actually like surprisingly sweet for like 55%.
You're right. It is. There's a lot going on there. I absolutely love it. This is sourced liquid. It says in the back of the bottle it comes from GND, County Louth. So
Yeah, you're super transparent with all.
have to be. Yeah, we do our own stuff as well. But when something's sourced, we sing about that as well.
Passionate about transparency. It says on the back there.
Oh, nice.
But and again, because some of your stuff is super limited, this one is more available, or it's kind of available.
That's it. That it is going to be more available. Okay. That's the idea.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Because in terms of capacity, what do you produce in a week, or what do you kind of what's your output?
Very little. Like we've just actually got ourselves. We're producing about a cask a week now. But the thing is, bottling takes time as well. So we bottle everything on site. So we're not massive, but we get by. You know.
Yeah. But for our international listeners, all four of you, it's one to definitely seek out, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think anything with the Killowen label on it is definitely something slightly different and definitely something to seek out. And
it's always full of flavour.
Yeah.
That's the idea. It's always full of flavour. We don't do those sort of really weak mass-produced whiskies that you're going to get everywhere. If you want to get a real treat, if you enjoy good quality, this is the stuff to go for.
And you're super experimental. You do even a coffee liqueur base with Pachi.
Yeah, we haven't got it here under the table.
Gloria.
But
No, I know. It's so tasty though. I love Gloria.
We would actually love to scale that, to be honest. It gets snapped up pretty fast. It's absolutely beautiful as well. So it's done in
great
small
in an
batches.
espresso martini.
Yeah.
There's a great new Irish cream in the market. Goes really well with it as well.
Apparently, when you mix it in two stacks together, it's the kingdom come.
Important to get a mention for the big supporters you have out there, the Killowen Cult. So for anybody who's unfamiliar, it is an extremely passionate Facebook group.
And off Facebook as well. Yeah, just a bunch. They've got their own cards and stuff that we've helped them now get. So they're at a capacity.
We both actually have cards.
Yes, these are cult card members. Which
carrying
means that
members.
you're getting access to the next release before everybody else, which is going to be very reasonably priced as well. So blackberry rum, that's going to be it. So it's highly experimental madness. The Cult's we'd be nobody without them. So they're capped at 1,000 members, and there's a lot of people trying to get in. So they're talking about culling some of the dead wood, but I don't know.
If you're not making the cut, you're gone. You're out.
And it's complete autonomy. We don't have anything to do with it, so they rule themselves. So.
And for anyone who is unfamiliar with what Brendan's talking about, the Killowen Cult, essentially it's 1,000 members who are just die-hard Killowen fans, and they seek out every single one of your bottles wherever they can. And it's great for you because you know that bottles are being sold, but on the flip side, people are then, the general public are struggling now to get some of your bottles.
True, yeah, because we always try to give preference to the cult crew as much as possible, and that angers the wider public. You should have joined the cult.
Yeah, you should have got in first. You didn't know about it. It's your own fault.
And then one of those bottles that people tend to go for is your new undistilled liquid Barántúil.
Barántúil, exactly.
We have a very special one, which I'll pull out now, but this might be, I don't know, it may be a world exclusive. It may be released at the point you're watching this.
But we had it first.
We had it first. Brendan just waxed this bottle about 10 minutes ago.
The last half bottle of it.
So tell us about this. Tell us a little bit about the Barántúil.
This has gone out to a distribution company in the Republic called Barry Group. They essentially own all of the carry-out off-licenses in the Republic of Ireland. So if there was no carry-out off-license in the Republic of Ireland, Ireland would be a sober place. So they're everywhere. And we would be lost without them. So, which is great because it means this is going to get good circulation. So this was done for a celebration for James A. Barry, and it's 486 bottles. So it's quite a few bottles. So I say people might get good access to it, but it's the first time we've made a single pot still in a muscatel cask. And like all Killowen bottles, there's too much wax on them and they're impossible to open.
But also, when you said on the back of this bottle, you said passionate about transparency. What does Barántúil mean in English?
True to origin, if you like, or authenticity, if you're trying to find a word in English. Yeah. So it's like the height of transparency for us, I'm struggling to open this, so I need a big muscly man like you to.
Wow. I happen to know one.
Hey!
Now, a lot of wax, so we're not going to rate the pop on that one. But let's have a little bit of this.
Oh, this is exciting. What's it? 59.3% ABV.
Woo!
That's a spicy meatball.
It's quality stuff. So this is actually single pot still whiskey.
Okay.
But what we've done is we had 2 smaller casks. So they were in 2 120 litre bourbons. We've added those together and put them in a lovely, fresh, wet muscatel cask for 6 months. So this is about 3.5 years old. And guys, you let it do the talking yourselves.
Yeah, I think the remarkable thing about your Barántúil releases is that they're obviously all your own. The amount of flavour you're getting into a 3 and a 3.5 year old spirit. I remember your first release came out and I was like, wow. You really wouldn't think, because I remember a friend of ours, somebody we all know, Ian Garrett, and he texted me, he goes, it's unbelievable. It's an 8 or a 9 out of 10. And I was like, 3-year-old whiskey can't be an 8 or a 9 out of 10. And I remember tasting it, going, all right, maybe you're right. Like,
Yeah, there's so much flavour, and I assume some of that there's down to the flamed pot still, and then the worm tub, and
Absolutely, all of that wild fermentations. Instead of cooling your liquid down immediately to 20 or 30%, then pitching your yeast, let it outside for a few days. Let it get nice and funky. Become part of the wilderness, become part of the environment. Wild yeast, wild bacteria gets in there, and then to finish off the fermentation, add yeast then, and it's a very slow fermentation. Efficiency is not what we do very well. But on these 12-hour distillations behind us and flame-fed stills, things like that, it's worm tub condensers. It's not that the reason why all of these techniques fell out of fashion is because they're inefficient. But we don't play the efficiency game. We play the quality game only, and it all makes the flavour better.
that is absolutely delicious.
Yeah, it is.
59.3.
Yeah, you really get that like sweetness, but it's like a light like brown sugar sort of sweetness.
Yeah. And here, for those whiskey geeks out there, I might need a big strong man to get this out.
No, you need dainty little fingers, so maybe Ronan.
Yay!
Oh, yeah,
nice.
this is great. Yeah.
This is the hidden level for all the super geeks out there. Tons of information on fermentation, distillation, stills, and your mash bill, of course. So
if you essentially wanted to recreate this at home, that's the recipe card.
don't do this at home, folks.
And this one is only going to be available from the Barry Group.
This is a single cask.
Yeah.
Barry Group exclusive bottling as a massive celebration for them. And so if you can get your hands on a bottle, do.
Because that will go fast. Price.
Open it and enjoy it.
Do you know?
They haven't disclosed with me just yet.
Okay.
But I'm sure by the time this is heard, folks will
Oh,
know.
it's so tasty though. Here, sláinte.
Sláinte.
Sláinte, Jorge.
Yeah. So to kind of finish it, lead the way.
I mean, we've tipped you off on this. We tip everybody off. We do a thing called Room 101. So one thing in the drinks industry. So to this point, we've mostly got the views of bar owners, bartenders. So you'll be the first distiller we've asked this question of. One thing in the drinks industry you get rid of. It gets put in the room 101, and you never see it again.
Do you know what really, actually,
Grinds my gears.
Grinds my gears. See when people give you T-shirts,
Yeah.
and you're expected to wear them like for public events.
Yeah.
I don't know, to like support certain festivals or certain. Oh, wait. Well, this is actually one of the better ones.
That's awkward.
This thing on there. But like every so often you get like a real dodgy one, and you have to wear it too. And
Yeah, well-
where do you see this? This is poor quality as well. This makes it even worse. But I don't know if you've ever seen this one before.
Here, that looks so soft.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh, look
god.
at that. Oh.
I think I've got a rash already. No, I've had this for quite a while, so yeah, it's good.
So I mean, we don't be sending Brendan any more free
So
t-shirts.
you just don't want merch?
He
No
doesn't
more
want
merch.
No more merch. for
That's
Brendan.
we need to get rid of it in the industry. Only joking. It's
Well, it
good.
looks good on you, man.
There's plenty of Killowen merch out there as well. This is excellent. You can just put 2 on at the same time and a really hot day like
and
this.
you'd be sweating because
Yeah.
it is roasting in here. Like.
But here, thanks for letting us crash with you today.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And
Ross,
taste all your like tasty liquid.
No, cheers. These are most welcome. I really appreciate
He
it.
was going to say at any time, but he wouldn't.
Yeah,
it's
cheers.
sláinte about.
Sláinte. Cheers.
Well, that was episode 10.
I know.
It
It was a very tasty episode.
was a
Wasn't it?
very tasty episode. So, I mean, we'd like to say thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Cheers.
Ciao.
Sláinte. Bye bye.
Bye, 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 bye,
Bye,
bye,
bye,
bye,
bye,
bye, bye, bye, bye, bye, bye.